Hello, I'm Ed Elkin from Alcatel-Lucent. This week we announced the availability of our WebRTC solution. At the end of the demo, I'll come back to the 5 items we include in that solution to provide developers capability to make really cool apps. Joining me on the stage is Mark Castleman. Mark is the CEO of Voby. So you may ask, well, why is Alcatel-Lucent and Voby up here on the stage together? The reason is that there's a problem, there's technology to solve that problem, and the carrier is the enabler. Mark?
Yep. Can you all hear me okay? No. No? Here, do that. Okay. A little bit of background on Voby. Who is Voby? Voby is an application provider. Earlier this year, we built a music, media, and voice experience via WebRTC for the connected car at AT&T's hackathon, and we ended up winning the call management challenge. So we have a little bit of background in building WebRTC applications that come at the entire process from a slightly different angle. So what I'm going to talk to you today is about what are our priorities and what are the key problems. So Voby is focused on 3 key principles: mobile identity, curating content, and extending the power of the mobile experience into other applications. So there's really some key problems that we're trying to solve. One is communication should be multimodal. That is, when I'm in one mode, I should be able to fluidly shift into another mode. The other is information is scattered. We have lots of data stores of disjointed information out there, and they all represent destinations. And the third is that those services are siloed in between voice, video, and screen sharing. They're all siloed, so they represent different places to go. Sorry? Oh, that one's going. All right. So one of the key problems is that content is scattered. What started out as solving a problem has become a problem. The cloud is a great place to store stuff, but now I have tons of things that are stored in the cloud. So in anticipation of any conversation that I get on, I have to begin to search all of this content. So there's clearly a better way to identify parties on a call, curate that content, and then present it to the callers that are on a call, because what folks are doing on a call is they're talking about something. So we want to bring that something into the experience. So how do we do that? One, we enable the user to extend their mobile service into other devices. IMS and WebRTC are 2 mechanisms for that as an enhancement of the service. That gives us the ability for the user to move in and out of modes very fluidly. So that's what I'm going to show you here. Bear with 1 second. Is that? Oh, that's on now. Okay. So in this particular use case, what I have 2 mobile users. These mobile users are going to call one another. There's no app, there's nothing downloaded, there's no special dialer to the phone. What we're doing is we're getting call events out of the mobile carrier network via Alcatel's IMS. So I'm going to go ahead and dial from my one user to another user. And as soon as I do that, what's going to happen is I'm going to get a call event from the network. And that call event is going to let both users know that there's a call in process. Okay? So in the interest of continuing to move forward here, I'll go ahead and answer the call. Oh, there it goes. All right. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to start it again. Another call. So user 1 is going to call user 2. IMS is going to send us a call event. That call event is going to be provided to both users and their experience. They've registered their desktops to Voby. Voby's sending that call event to their desktop. The call comes in to the second user, and Voby very quickly goes out and curates content relevant to the identities of the parties. Now at this point, they're just having a regular circuit-based mobile call. So the content is available and it's ready to go. So what I'm going to do on this side, since I have my box.com account wired up to my identity, I'm going to go ahead into my photos file, and I'm going to share my file to my friend. I haven't had to go outside the application. All I did, drag it on the screen, and it becomes available to the other user. So every call creates a contextual session that is easily accessible and becomes a part of the shared experience. The other thing that I can do is I can go, let's say, and this user walks into his office and he says, you know, I'm really tired of talking on the phone. It's heavy to hold, perhaps, and he can say, move the call. That user's media session just moved from his mobile device into the browser. Now, that's not a SIP dialer or a two-stage dial. That's a direct call control signal into IMS on the carrier network. User number 2 decides, or back to 1, he decides he wants to implement video on the call. So he can press his video icon. I get a little video screen here. And I now have multi-party video. Once again, started with the mobile, moved to WebRTC in the browser, and now I've got another parallel mode, which is video. Once again, a very fluid experience. And part of having a conversation with somebody is the ability to be able to control the content that you're sharing. So if I'm in the middle of a conversation, and instead of telling you, hey, I found this really funny video of Grumpy Cat, why don't you go search it? I can just find that video, drag it over. It becomes immediately available to you. So as a part of managing the conversation between users, we've given them the ability to move in and out of modes, collect content, curate that content, and make it a part of the experience. And of course, there are many, many other things that we can talk about with this, but I'm going to go ahead and switch back to our deck here. All right. So what did we see? Well, what we saw was that every call now has context. Oh, we're not seeing anything on this side. We're about to. And we can run it all off one side from this point forward. So what we're seeing is that every call has context. Context is the collision of identity and content. Every call is also an asset. That means that that call can be extended to other things, other modes. So that call has history, the context has history, and that context can continue throughout the life of the user, kind of like an enhanced CDR. And lastly, what did we see? Mobile service in the browser. This means extending mobile out of the device and into the browser. So mobile isn't really about a device experience. Mobile is really a way of life. It's a way of communicating. It's a way of accessing the network. So we want to enable the user to extend that experience into other devices that are appropriate.
So how did we do this? Well, you saw what Voby created here with their application. How did Alcatel-Lucent help them do that? We provided 5 things in our WebRTC border solution. One, of course, is a border controller for WebRTC. But with that WebRTC border controller, we have libraries for you to use as web developers down on the device. Today, JavaScript, tomorrow, REST APIs. A third thing that we provide are direct server-level REST APIs where you get direct access to our voice, video, and messaging server. A fourth item is a developer portal where you can come register on our portal, free. We host the network, live commercial software that our customers in 43 networks around the world are using today for live commercial service. And the fifth part is a WebRTC verified IMS that has been extensively tested for feature, for network, for capacity and performance to make sure that your cool application, when it takes off, case in point, let's say Voby, when it takes off and goes commercial big time, that you've got a firm foundation to build that on. Thank you.